Okay, alright. Hello everyone, it's Silver Kyle here, and welcome to my movie reviewing channel. And I want to start this channel off with my entire Blu-ray collection. This should be pretty much every Blu-ray that I own. It's not even close to what I would like to actually own. This is even half of what I'd like to own that's out there. I did pick, in my collection, movies that I really enjoyed and I wanted to rewatch that, you know, I've rated very highly and I like. I also have some guilty pleasures, of course. And some movies that I picked up at times because they were on sale. And I've been collecting for about 2 years now, and in Canada, some movies at the very beginning, like in 2011, Blu-rays weren't cheap, but some of them were, and I did pick up a lot back then that were cheap, and they weren't the greatest movies, but, you know, cheap Blu-rays, so I bought them. And I still kind of do that now, every once in a while. But anyway, this is my entire collection. You will see about 220-ish, give or take, Blu-rays here. Or, well, at least movies, not necessarily the cases, because, for example, Lord of the Rings is a compilation of movies. So anyway, let's get on with it. I won't be, you know, giving a review for every movie, but if something, you know, really strikes me, I will talk about it. Okay, let's start it off with the Criterion movies, and yes, I know, if you're a Criterion fan, you're like, oh my goodness, this is such a disgrace. You only have 3 Criterions, and I only watched one of them, because I just recently got them over the summer. And the only one that I watched was 12 Angry Men. Amazing movie. This is one of my favorite movies. It's from the 1950s, and I'd actually seen the TV movie first from 1997. So I already knew what was going to happen, but the acting in this is so good. And for a movie from the 50s is amazing. Next up, The Seven Samurai. I have not seen it yet, but I've been dying to see this for such a long time. But it's over like 3 hours long, so we'll see when I eventually get to it. And last but not least is The Seventh Seal, to round up my Criterion. I know, it's so bad, but Criterions are expensive. Next up, let's go with the Digibooks. I only own 3 Digibooks. These are nice little collectibles. I think I like Steelbooks and Criterions more, but anyway. And I don't think they make Digibooks anymore. I haven't seen one in a very long time. The Big Lebowski, Coen Brothers movie, amazing. Jaws, one of the best movies from the 1970s, one of the best movies of all time. I wish that they made more monster movies like this. You rarely ever see a good monster movie like this, and sharks I think are just perfect, so I really enjoy this movie. And To Kill a Mockingbird. I have no idea what I'm going to do with all these movies here. And there's movies in the back that are starting to fall. Next up, let's do the Steelbooks. Oh, that's not in the right order. Okay, let's go this way. Batman Begins. I'll put that to the side. The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight Rises. And for those movies, that is my favorite series of movies of all time. It beats Star Wars, it beats Lord of the Rings. Just phenomenal. Christopher Nolan really knew what to do with Batman to make it into a darker, serious tone that's kind of like more real life. Like as if Batman actually existed in this world. And Batman Begins isn't like perfect, but it was a very good introduction to the series. Still an amazing movie, but the other 2 movies, The Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises, I would give a 10 out of 10. I love them for both different reasons. They're very familiar. They feel like a Batman movie in, you know, the Christopher Nolan world, but they're so different and unique at the same time. And I love them both for different reasons. So, amazing that Christopher Nolan was able to do that. Next up is Blade Runner, a Harrison Ford classic that has a huge cult following. The Departed, another one of my favorite movies of all time, definitely in my top 10. The cast in this is insane. Leonardo DiCaprio, Matt Damon, Jack Nicholson, Mark Wahlberg, Martin Sheen, Alec Baldwin. It's amazing. And finally, Django Unchained and Inglourious Basterds. Another 2 amazing movies, and I cannot pick my favorite Quentin Tarantino movie. It's either Django, Inglourious Basterds, or Pulp Fiction. I just cannot pick between those 3. They're just, it's like picking your favorite child, you know. Next up, I do not like the movies that are in this pile. Next up will be just my compilation of videos, and that would be Back to the Future, the trilogy. Amazing, you know, teen movies from the 80s. Just has that 80s vibe to it. Although the last one might have been from the 1990s. Original Christmas classic. Always need to watch these when it gets close to Christmas. Santa Claus is Coming to Town, Frosty the Snowman, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I just love, you know, the time that went into this with all the different not puppets, but you know what I mean. The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, the remake, not the originals. The Godfather trilogy, another amazing series, well, 1 and 2 anyway. Home Alone, just the first two, Home Alone 1 and 2. Those are the only ones worth seeing. Everything else is, yeah. Lethal Weapon, the collection 1, 2, and 3, and 4. The perfect buddy cop movies. This is what started the genre, and amazing. Every one of them, even Lethal Weapon 4, I just love them to bits. 1 and 2 are my favorite, though. Probably 1 would probably be my favorite out of the bunch, though. Next up is the Man with No Name trilogy. Amazing spaghetti westerns, and this is what started Clint Eastwood's career, really. People say, you know, just watch The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. No, watch the entire 3 movies. They don't have anything to do with each other. It's just that Clint is starring in them. And the other one is for a few dollars more and a fistful of dollars. Very worth watching, and don't just skimp out and watch The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. The other 2 are great as well. Amazing music in that too. The theme is just amazing. Magnificent Seven, which is the collection, which includes all 4 movies, and other westerns. Where are the rest here? I think this is them. Okay, The Lord of the Rings, extended editions, and other than the Batman series, this would probably be my second favorite series of all time. Just phenomenal. I love them. Next up is the Mission Impossible trilogy, 1, 2, and 3. 1 is great, 2 is meh, 3, you know, started getting better, and then 4, which I'll get to, is just as good as 1, if not better. Pulp Fiction by Quentin Tarantino. Watch this. Just watch every Quentin Tarantino movie that I've mentioned so far. One of my favorite movies of all time, in my top 5, and that would be Taxi Driver with Martin Scorsese and Robert De Niro. Martin Scorsese picks specific actors that he follows for years, and he's doing it right now with Leonardo DiCaprio. But before that, it was Robert De Niro, and they made some fantastic movies, and this is no exception. This is probably, from what I've seen, I haven't seen Raging Bull yet, but from what I've seen, that is my favorite Robert De Niro movie. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles trilogy. Transformers the trilogy. Michael Bay. This is a guilty pleasure, because you can kind of just pop it on and watch it for the action, but my god, not the greatest movies of all time. And the X-Men trilogy, which are not the greatest in my opinion, but I watch them for Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. That's honestly why I watch it, and I think that's pretty much why everyone else watches it as well. Next up, we'll talk about my TV shows, which I do not own a lot of, because they're generally a little bit more expensive. Things are going to start moving. I can see this now. Yeah, let's try to fix this a little bit. Breaking Bad Season 2. What's his name? Bryan Cranston, just a phenomenal actor. And I think that it's like, he didn't do anything after Malcolm in the Middle. And then all of a sudden, he started doing Breaking Bad, and he's in everything. And I love it. I just love that he's in everything. The Avengers, which is Earth's Mightiest Heroes, amazing TV show. That's Season 1. Dexter, which you can tell I am a fan of. This is my second favorite show of all time. And I have Seasons 1, 2, and 3 on DVD, and I have Season 4 and 6 here on Blu-ray. What's this? Game of Thrones, the first season. You know, Sean Bean, a phenomenal actor. I like it every once in a while when he gets a good role. I wish that he was used a lot more in Hollywood. Spartacus, Blood and Sand, the first season, have not opened it yet. And Supernatural Season 5. Yeah, not a lot of TV shows, and I want to collect more, but they're just so much more expensive, so that's on the to-do list. Oh, where does it start now? Okay, I think it goes here, but I'm trying to just manage everything so that everything can kind of fall back on themselves, because things are going crazy in the back here. Oh, this is going to be bad. 310 to Yuma, good Western. Okay, just a bunch of 007 movies. So I'll put that there. Don't do this to me. Dr. No. From Russia with Love. Goldfinger. Thunderball. Live and Let Die. Live and, yeah. Moonraker. For Your Eyes Only. The World Is Not Enough. Die Another Day. Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace, and Skyfall. I probably say that Daniel Craig is my favorite Bond, and I'd probably say that my favorite Bond movie is Casino Royale. I know a lot of people like Skyfall, but Casino Royale is where it's at for me. I really like poker too, so that's probably another reason I like it so much. 500 Days of Summer, 10,000 BC, have not watched this yet. Not really, I don't know, that was one of those cheap ones that I picked up at one point. Absolute Power with Clint Eastwood. Adjustment Bureau with Matt Damon. Okay. The Aliens movies. Alien. Aliens. Alien 3. And Alien Resurrection. 3 and 4 I haven't watched again. But my favorite Alien is actually Alien. Just the first one is, I find that much more atmospheric, and having only, like, obviously Aliens is awesome because you see so many, but it was just a little bit, it wasn't as good as the first one. The first one, there was just something else about it, just having one where you never knew where it was, and it wasn't as action-paced, and the drama and suspense was a lot more apparent in that one. The American with George Clooney. I'm mixing things up here. American Beauty. An Innocent Man with Tom Selleck. I picked this up because it was like under $5, and it's actually really good. He gets sent to jail, and he's innocent. Like the cops just thought that they had the right address, but they were wrong. So they planted stuff on him, and he ends up going to jail. And it's actually really, really good if you like Tom Selleck. Argo with Ben Affleck. Bryan Cranston's in this one. Bryan Cranston, for every scene that he was in, I thought he should have been nominated for Best Supporting Actor instead of, what's the other guy there? Alan Arkin, I think, is his name? Yeah, Alan Arkin, I think, was nominated. And I was like, yeah, Alan was okay. He wasn't bad, but I thought that Bryan Cranston really showed off more in this movie. And Argo was okay. It got Best Picture, and I was like, yeah, all right. I was just happy that it didn't go to Zero Dark 30. Avatar, which is, you know, Pocahontas with, who's the, James Cameron, yeah. It's good, the visuals are nice, but it's overrated. Like, this is the movie that made the most at the box office. It made over $2 billion, and it's like, yeah, they should have done that instead. You got close, this was $1.5 billion. The Avengers, my goodness, one of the best, you know, comic book movies of all time. I like the Dark Knight trilogy more, but in terms of a comic book movie, this is where it's at. It's just so much fun, whereas the Dark Knight movies are a little bit darker and a little bit more serious. Beyond a Reasonable Doubt, have not seen it yet, and as you can see, it was $7, so I picked it up. The Beaver with Mel Gibson, which is a really different movie. If you like Mel Gibson, it's really a different, it's the most unique movie I've seen him with, where he kind of, you know, he's gone crazy, which is kind of, you know, ironic, he gets a beaver to talk with, so that, like, he doesn't, you know, go as crazy, but he starts, like, yeah, just watch a trailer and you'll get a good idea from that. Blitz, which I picked up because it was $7. I do like Jason Statham movies, though. They're good action, you know, guilty pleasures. Boondock Saints, which has, you know, become so popular over the last, I don't know. I don't know if it was as popular when it first came out. And when I first saw it, I was like, oh yeah, this is good. But it's received such a huge cult following lately. Braveheart, which is probably the movie that made Mel Gibson. The Breakfast Club. A Bucket List. Cowboys and Aliens, which I enjoyed. I thought it was a good action movie. By the same director that did Iron Man 1 and 2. Chinatown with a very young Jack Nicholson and, what's her name? Faye Dunaway. Let's do this pile over here. Let's bring these a little bit closer so that they can support everything else that's here. Cool Hand Luke, Paul Newman. Collateral by Michael Mann, and this is the only movie that Tom Cruise was the bad guy in. and he plays the villain so well. Just amazing. It's the perfect movie to really show off the LA nightlife. Just phenomenal. I really wish that Tom Cruise would play more villains, because he's amazing. That's probably his best role, in my opinion. I'll show you collateral damage. It's time for Arnold Schwarzenegger. That is a very guilty pleasure. It's not. I'd give it like a 5 out of 10, but it's entertaining. All Arnie movies are. Well, most. The Day After Tomorrow. I wish Dennis Quaid was in more movies. The Deer Hunter with Robert De Niro and what's his name? Meryl Streep as well, but Christopher Walken. Do your Christopher Walken impersonation. Is Christopher Walken? No, that's horrible. Don't even try right now. The Descendants with George Clooney. Very different movie, but enjoyable. Die Hard, the trilogy. Excluding the 4 and 5, although I did like 4. Die Hard 1, Die Hard 2, and Die Hard 3 is still sealed with a vengeance. Let's move these guys over here. Don't mix and match yet, Kyle. What's this? District 9, which is still sealed, but it was $7, and I love that movie. Doubt. Dragon Ball Z, Cooler's Revenge, and The Return of Cooler. Drive, probably the best movie from 2011. I thought 2011 was kind of an okay year, but I found that 2010 and 2012 clearly overshadowed 2011. But Drive was certainly worth watching. Very different movie though. Ryan Reynolds doesn't really talk a lot in that movie. Edge of Darkness, Mel Gibson. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, probably Jim Carrey's best drama and role as well. Equilibrium. Expendables 1 and 2, which just manly man movies. I love the Expendables. Very not the greatest movies of all time, not even close to an Oscar. Man, it's just an 80s cheese fest, and I love it. I love it. You know, it's an homage to all the 80s and 90s action stars, and I just adore it. Where are we here now? This pile, which will be, my goodness, it's gonna take a while. Fast and Furious, The Fast and Furious, excuse me, Too Fast, Too Furious, The Fast and Furious, Tokyo Drift, Fast and Furious, and Fast 5. My goodness. Oh, this is gonna be scary here. Let's put this pile in my lap and move this pile over to support. Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Fight Club, Flight, Frost and Nixon, Get the Gringo, which, if you like Mel Gibson movies and you like movies where he's, I have a lot of Mel Gibson movies because I always pick an actor that I'm going to try to collect every movie for. I did it with my DVD collection, and I completed quite a few actor lists of movies that I wanted. And now I'm finally doing it in Blu-ray collections, and Mel Gibson just ended up being the first one that I did that for. And man, it's so good. If you like Mel Gibson when he's kind of like just this not invincible character, but he's so cunning and he's able to get away with a lot of stuff, Get the Gringo is amazing. Ghost Protocol, Mission Impossible 4, probably the best one out of the bunch. Good Will Hunting, which kind of like started Matt Damon and Ben Affleck's careers. The Green Mile, amazing movie. Tom Hanks, I wish Tom Hanks was like this old Tom Hanks, although this year it does look like he's coming back with Captain Phillips and the Walt Disney movie there. The Hangover, the first one. Okay, and then we are going to start... Oh man, this is not good. What am I at? I'm at this pile, but look at this. This is just... nah. Harry Potter, #1, Philosopher's Stone. Harry Potter 3, Prisoner of Azkaban. Harry Potter 4, Goblet of Fire. Harry Potter, The Order of Phoenix. Harry Potter, Deathly Hallows Part 1. and Harry Potter Deathly Hallows Part 2. So I am missing the second one, which is Chamber of Secrets, and the sixth one, Half-Blood Prince. I just recently picked all of these up, and they were just available and they were cheap, and I was like, oh, the right price, I'll get them. They're okay. I like them for rewatchability, but they are nothing compared to the books, and they're not really the greatest movies of all, like, ever. I enjoyed the first two the most when they were younger because of that director and the style that the approach that he took with the Harry Potter series. And after that, it's kind of like it went to different directors, and then they picked the worst director for the last one. Deathly Hallows Part 1 is garbage. I haven't seen Part 2 because of how bad Part 1 was. I'm going to have a Harry Potter marathon, and I'll eventually get around to it. The Hobbit. The first one, An Unexpected Journey. Love this. Not as good as the original Lord of the Rings trilogy, but still nice to watch. Hot Fuzz, which is the second movie that with what's his name, Simon Pegg, and Nick Frost, I believe. How the Grinch Stole Christmas, a classic movie. It's only like half an hour. How to Train Your Dragon, which is probably my favorite animated movie of all time, including like Disney's. That's not even Disney. That's like what, DreamWorks? Yeah. Hulk. Oh, sorry, The Incredible Hulk, not the 2003 one, the 2008 one with what's his name, Edward Norton, which is so much better than the 2003 one with Eric Bana. Not Bana's fault, but ooh, that's a bad movie. The Ides of March, which was okay. I wasn't too impressed with that one. Inception, one of my top 10 favorite movies of all time. I do like Christopher Nolan as a director. He's just damn good. Put that behind me. In the Valley of Elah, I think that's how you pronounce it, with Tommy Lee Jones and Charlize Theron. Awesome. If you like, Tommy Lee Jones's characters are kind of all the same, but this is one of his best roles where he, in that genre where he's an ex-military police investigator, and he kind of figures out what happened to his son because he went AWOL and he wants to figure it out. Very, very good movie. Very slow paced, but great movie. I, Robot with Will Smith. I'm surprised I don't own more Will Smith movies, actually. IP Man, which as you can see is still sealed. I'm just recently picked that one up and I want to check it out. Iron Man 1 and 2. Robert Downey Jr., this was his comeback, and by far his best role to date. There's nobody else that can play Tony Stark, in my opinion. It's just, no, that's Robert Downey Jr. Kick-Ass, the original, which, the first, which came out in 2010. Such a good movie. Nicolas Cage is probably, I didn't expect for me to, there's one scene with Nicolas Cage in this movie, and I was just like, oh. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. I was just like, I did not expect that. Anyway, Legend of the Guardians. Let's put all these over here so that they can kind of like support everything. Come on, Iron Man. Get in there. What is it, Iron Man 2? Okay, Iron Man 1 was amazing. Iron Man 3 was amazing. Iron Man 2 gets a lot of flack. It's not the best Iron Man. It's not the best superhero movie. It's, but it's not like it's Hulk 2003, people. It's not that bad. I'd say that it's better than almost all the X-Men movies, other than First Class, of course. What am I at now? This pile over here. I hope everything's still in the correct order, because this pile in the back has just been falling on me. Looper. A very different movie, amazing movie. I love this. Joseph Gordon-Levitt in 2012 was just on a roll. So many movies that came out with him, and this year he only has one with Don John, but I'm quite excited for that one. Machete, and I cannot wait for the sequel. Just crazy, Yeah. Margaret. The Mask, my first Jim Carrey movie ever, and I loved this movie to bits when I was younger. I still enjoy it today, but just not as much as I did back then. Maverick. Memento, the first big, well, not big, but the first Christopher Nolan movie that came out to the West. Like, he did 2 movies before that, but they weren't actual, like, theatrical movies, really. Michael Clayton. Moneyball with Brad Pitt. Monsters, which I just have not seen yet. and I don't know if I really, well, eventually. Muppets Take Manhattan. Don't ask me why that's one of the Muppet movies that I own, but it is. And Muppet Christmas Carol, one of the best Scrooge tales in my opinion, with Michael Caine playing as Scrooge. Now, which, now I gotta go through this pile over here. Yeah, I'll put that there. Payback with Mel Gibson. Like if you watched Payback and you enjoyed it, and you enjoyed Mel Gibson's character in that one, where did the other movie go? Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. Everything's not going to be in order, everything's messed up, but that's okay. There's some movies over here. Yeah, if you liked Payback, Get the Gringo is certainly worth a watch. National Treasure, I know everything's not in order, it's okay. Ocean's 11, Ocean's 13. I do want to get Ocean's 12, but it's the weakest of the bunch, and I just picked those two up individually. The Other Guys, which probably one of my favorite comedies in the last few years, is just hilarious. Michael Keaton is great in this movie. Just everybody is great in this movie. I really like Mark Wahlberg, and this was probably... Will Ferrell gets on my nerves sometimes, but he was perfect in that. The Patriot with Mel Gibson. I know there's a lot of Mel Gibson movies. Phone Booth, which was an interesting movie. It all takes place in the phone booth, but it's interesting. Pirates of the Caribbean, 1, 2, Dead Man's Chest, and 3, World's End, which, you know, the first one was amazing, the second one was good, still very good, probably close to as good as the first one, and then the third one just yeah, and then the fourth one, which I do not own, but just, it's, yeah, I won't talk about it because I don't have it. Point Break with Keanu Reeves and Patrick Swayze. Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Predators, which is actually a lot better than I expected it would be, so that's why I picked it up. And Primal Fear, which started Edward Norton's career. This was the first movie he had ever done. Isn't that crazy? I think it's crazy. Okay, finally I can take this pile, which I've been holding the entire time. Prometheus, which is like the prequel to Alien. And it's phenomenal. It is, in my opinion, better than Alien. Well, Alien is better in the suspense factor, but in terms of interesting storyline and just the scenery, it's the best CGI I've seen, but also the best, you know, actual what's the word I'm looking for here? Like material, like it combines like the best, you know, suits, real life suits, but also the best CGI at the same time. And it's just amazing, amazing. The acting in this as well, mainly from what's his name, David, which is, who is he? He's like one of my favorite actors nowadays. He's one of the best actors running at the moment. He played Magneto in First Class. What's his name? That's bothering me now. I'm not really so good with names, but anyway, let's keep on going. Rain Man. Rambo First Blood 2 and 3, which, you know, First Blood's good. Rise of the Planet of the Apes, yeah, not so hot on this one. I only own the 2 Rocky movies just because I picked them up at one point. I would like to get the entire collection, even though 5 is, yeah. But the actual best 2 are the original Rocky. This, in my opinion, really shows that Sylvester Stallone can act, and Rocky Balboa, which is the last one in the series. Safe House with Ryan Reynolds and Denzel Washington. And we're almost at the end here, folks. Oh my goodness. Okay. Saving Private Ryan, another great Tom Hanks movie with Matt Damon as well. Shaun of the Dead, the first pairing of Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, which is just, you know, they work so well together, and this is just so good. It was like $5, and I was like, oh, of course I'm gonna pick it up. I love that movie. Signs, when M. Night Shyamalan used to still be a good director. Shutter Island, one of the best. Leonardo DiCaprio, I just think, is a phenomenal actor, and this is once again with him and Martin Scorsese directing, so good movie. And that came out in 2010, the same time that Inception came out. Crazy year for Leo. Silver Linings Playbook, one of my favorite movies from last year. Really different romance comedy, but I wouldn't categorize it as that. I don't know what I would categorize it as. Skyline, which I picked up for $9 in 2011. I probably shouldn't have. I haven't opened it yet. Sleepy Hollow with a Tim Burton movie. I love some of Tim Burton's stuff. The Amazing Spider-Man, which is good. I'm just not blown away with it. I enjoyed Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man 1 and 2. Not necessarily 3, but 3 gets, you know, torn to pieces a little bit too hard. I don't think it's that bad. They did completely screw over Venom, but I mean, as overall, like the battles between Spider-Man and Sandman, and they were interesting. Star Trek, the reboot from 2009, amazing. One of my favorite movies of all time. I just love this to bits. I did not expect to enjoy it that much. Tango and Cash was for $5, and I was like, ah, why not? I haven't seen it yet. Let's bring this pile over here, because that is the last pile that I have to do. But before I get to that, there is some Terminator movies here. There's Terminator 1, 2, and 3. Terminator 2, best pile of the bunch, but it's still... Terminator 1 is still great. 3 is okay, but, you know, 1 really gets overlooked, and everyone's just always talking about T2, and I'm like, oh, why? T1 was good as well. It's not as good. There Will Be Blood. Before Lincoln, there was There Will Be Blood, where Daniel Day-Lewis did win the Oscar Best Actor, and in my opinion, this is his better role. Time Bandits, which it's different, not necessarily in a good way. Normally, I like the stuff that like the Monty Python cast is in, but no, that's not Monty Python. Training Day with Denzel Washington and Ethan Hawke. No, you know, I would have preferred Denzel was winning Best Actor for Flight instead, but he won it for that. But I mean, he was going up against Daniel Day-Lewis, so I mean, it's understandable that he didn't win in Flight. Transporter 1 and 2, which are great action movies, and really what started, well, it turned Jason Statham into an action star, let's put it that. Tron Legacy, which was the first Blu-ray that I ever owned. Interesting little fact there. And I love it. A lot of people are like, yeah, just, you know, hot and cold with it. I love it. It's probably one of my favorite movies of all time. The soundtrack is perfect because of Daft Punk. And it's just... Jeff Bridges, man. Jeff Bridges. How can you not like the dude? The Ultimate Avengers, the collection, which is the 2 movies that came out, I think in 2006, I believe. Yeah. And they're okay. Up in the Air, probably my favorite George Clooney movie. Really different movie where he kind of goes around, you know, firing people. He's contracted out to just let people go, and then his company starts saying, well, we don't, you know, it's 2010, I think, is when this movie came out. So, you know, we can use the internet to do this now and do it over the web instead, but he's been doing this for like his entire career, so he's always in the air, always flying, and he's used to that kind of lifestyle, and now he's going to be grounded, so it's interesting to see him kind of freak out and not want to do that. The Usual Suspects, one of the best movies of all time. If you have not seen this and you like thrillers, and I don't even want to say what else it is, but amazing, just watch it. Kevin Spacey's best movie, Gabriel Byrne's best movie, by far. What's his name? The Baldwin that's in this. By far his favorite movie. But I mean, you don't really expect Stephen Baldwin to be the best actor and stuff. But Gabriel Byrne and Kevin Spacey, you do expect good things from them. Especially Kevin Spacey, and this is their best movies. Did Spacey win anything for that? Because he should have, if he didn't. I don't think he did. Varsity Blues, one of my... I enjoy this. I'd like give it an 8 out of 10. Don't judge me. The Visitor, which I picked up for $5 because I love Richard Jenkins, and I haven't seen this yet though. The Warrior, just Warrior, with Tom Hardy, Joel Edgerton, and Nick Nolte. Nick Nolte's freaking awesome, man. Good movie, good 2011 movie. Watchmen, Director's Cut. A lot of people are kind of like iffy on this one as well. I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. Probably, I don't know, like 9 out of 10. I don't know. Call me crazy. We Bought a Zoo with Matt Damon and Scarlett Johansson. Good movie. I enjoy Matt Damon movies, so. We Were Soldiers, which I just recently picked up as well, which pretty much brings me almost to every movie that I would like to own on Blu-ray that has been released so far in North America from Mel Gibson. The only 3 that I'm missing is the Mad Max trilogy. X-Men First Class, which in my opinion is the best X-Men movie by far. The cast for this is great, but it's mostly just, well, I mean Magneto. Who is that actor? Give me the name. Give me the name, because that bothers me. I should know that name. They're not going to give it to me, are they? Does it say in the front? No, it doesn't. No, I'm in the back. Just give me 1 second. Just give me 1 second. It's Michael Fassbender. God, yes. Inglourious Bastards, X-Men First Class, Prometheus. He's just so good. And I love this movie. Like an 8 out of 10. And I cannot wait for X-Men First Class. No, First Class 2? Is that what it's called? I can't remember the movie that's coming out next year, to the sequel to that, but it joins both casts together, like from the X-Men trilogy and this one. And last but not least, Yes Man with Jim Carrey, which isn't Jim Carrey's best, obviously. Like, he hasn't really done anything amazing in the 2000s, but I enjoyed this, and it was a good laugh. Oh my goodness. I don't know how long it's been. I can't read from this far away, but that is a lot of movies. That is a lot of time. I am sweating. It is warm in here. Thank you all for watching if you watched the entire video. I'm going to go relax my throat muscles now. So thank you all for watching. You've been bearded in. That's just ridiculous. Ridiculousness. Let's just quickly show this amount of Blu-rays here. Yeah, that's my Blu-ray collection. You've been bearded in. Beardage.